on this episode of Black Man Unfiltered.
Again, going back to us as a community of Black people, I feel like there's something to that we have to be accountable for. And I really wish our rappers and hip hop artists would stop promoting this drug use in that way.
What else would they rap about if they didn't?
Man, that's a
But
deep.
music been about drugs though.
Yeah,
For a
years.
long time.
Yeah, that's why I was going to go into you, Sierra, like with the music, because we used to listen to it growing up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to name none of the artists because, man, I don't want to tell nobody the age. But you know, it's a lot of stuff that we listened to back in then. You like, especially like I was listening to it the other day. It came on Satellite Radio the other day, Mystical. I Smell Smoke, and I'm like, dude, we was listening to that when we were 14, 15 years old. Like, you know, I heard
Mr. Ice Cream Man.
The Ice Cream Man
in junior high. And I've never smoked a day in my life. I never popped a pill a day in my life. And so, I mean, not saying, you know, there are
muted,
people.
Megan.
Am I muted?
No, Megan is.
Oh.
Mother.
I mean, I'm not saying that. Oh, okay. I thought she was trying to say something. My bad.
Hey, go out and come back in, Megan. Yeah.
And I don't want to just blame hip hop. I mean, because like I've never smoked a day. Like I said, I never smoked a day in my life.
Me either.
I've listened to I Smell Smoke, Mystical. I listened to Mr. Ice Cream Man. I saw About It. Hey, I used to see the freaking drugs sitting on, I don't even want to say out it. You know.
right.
But, you know. But it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's because my dad was on drugs and I saw how it affected him or whatever. I don't know. But I mean, I just can't sit there and blame hip hop totally for, you know, the drug. I mean, my daughter listens to all this music. I have to listen to the music that she's listened to because I want to talk with her about it. I want her to understand what she's listening to and what she's hearing. So, I mean, I feel like listening to our kids' music, that's a conversation we can have with our kids because who finna listen to Young Boy? I don't even freaking, you know, right. But I do it for her to have that conversation so I can explain to her, you know, so she won't go out and try to do the things that they're talking about in the music. What else I wanted to say? You know, is also start like with kids. I don't know who said, you know, about the children, but, you know, I work in mental health. We administer medication. I just had this conversation with a mother yesterday and she told me she didn't even want services anymore. And we didn't even have her in services. She had a 4-year-old. She said, my 4-year-old is just all over the place. She just won't sit still. She just won't be quiet. If I don't lock my refrigerator, she goes in the kitchen and she opens the refrigerator door and throw all the food on the floor. I need medication for her now and I need Adderall. I say, ma'am, your daughter's 4.
Right.
What you mean? You're not in my house. Ma'am, your daughter is 4 years old. You telling me you want to put your 4-year-old on Adderall? Even though a doctor is not going to prescribe it, because if a doctor do prescribe Medicaid, not going to pay for it. She's 4. Have you thought about parenting? Have you thought about putting in behavior, putting in because they starting them early now. So I can see why it's a young thing now. Because they're starting them early because the kid won't sit still. Because in the schools are enforcing it. Kids won't sit still in the classroom. My son, 8 years old, he's homeschooled now. I had to pull him out of school. You want to know why? Because they say, oh, your son just plays with a pen. He was 7, you guys. Your son just plays with a pencil all day. Like the kid can literally play with his shoestring. Tell me what 7-year-old won't. He won't listen. He won't pay attention. And I feel like he's going to fail if we don't get something done. They don't know what I do for a living. That's the thing. I don't ever go into a place and say, hey, my name is Sierra. I'm a social worker. I don't do that. I'm coming to you as just a normal parent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, your child I think he needs to be on some kind of medication. My son used to act like this and this a white teacher. My son used to act like this and I put him on medication. And after a while, he was awesome. He was great. He was able to sit down and listen. I say, oh, really? Yeah. Now that's when I go and I talk about, so you diagnosing kids now? I don't
Exactly.
think they taught that in school, like for you to become a teacher. I
And
think
no
that's my
credential.
job. That's my job to diagnose and treat, not yours.
And one of the
So
problems
that's
with
when I bring it up. So I actually had to take him out because I feel like that they were going to fail him. Because every day it was,
Mm-hmm.
uh, have you been to the doctor? Or we can get, the teacher to write it up, or we could get the principal to write it up. No, we don't need anything to write up. He just won't be here anymore. And parents have to advocate for their kids. I see so many parents coming into the to my office stating, "Oh, well, the school said that if I don't get, he can't come back to school until I put him on medication. Oh, the school said he can't. Oh, he can't do whatever until he's on medication, just so they can control him." But I don't. People are pushing medication more now, and I feel like we need to advocate for our children.
And I think
Can, can, can
also
I
that's
ask
because
you
there's an
something?
incentive. There's an incentive for that now. Now you're
That's what I
keeping
was
the
gonna ask.
disability checks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
That's
and that see now I care more about that than the child support because like you
yeah.
drugging your kids just
right.
Yes.
to get some extra
Mm-hmm.
money by
Yeah,
me, like
yeah, yeah.
that's the worst thing in the
Yeah.
world to me, and
I
you
was
should
And
gonna
have
when
the
they
ask
kids
get
back.
that.
that, and when they get that, because all you need is the school to back you too. But the
Mhm.
thing is, when the school bring it up first, yeah, that's the next thing that go on the parents' mind. Oh, well, I could get them on. I could get them on a
Check.
social security check now. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, that kid has to show so much difficulty in the schools, and at home, and in the community now before they can give you a disability check. And we get cussed out every day for that because it's hard for them to get those checks now. But your kid has to be real, like have some type of real issues before they get that check in when it's mentally. Now disability and physical, that's different. But mentally, oh yeah, they're gonna have to write them up a couple of times before they give out a check for
Mm-hmm.
that.
And so, Dr. Higgins, when it comes to, kids, us as parents being afraid and scared that addiction thing may hit home, it may hit our children. Like, what are some things that you feel that, like what Sierra was just saying, just piggybacking on what she was saying about how the schools are and how the schools are pumping drugs down kids' throats, and then on top of that, the kids dealing with the school pumping it down their throat. Then when they get out of school, they got to deal with somebody giving it to them out on the street. So, I mean, what is your thoughts on that? You're muted. You're muted.
Just to let you guys know, I loved everything everyone said. And I just want to tell Brian, I really liked your response because you're talking about having a solution focused conversation. We know what the problem is. We've been talking about the same problem forever. So what are we going to do about it? And that's one of the tenets of CRT is to get us to understand critical race theory, to get us to understand that racism is here to stay. It is not going anywhere. So we just got to figure out how to make this system work for us. How are we going to maintain in this system? It is not going anywhere. And to understand that it is designed for the elite. So whenever they do something, I notice like whenever something happens or a law passed, Black people are quick to go, oh yay, finally they thought about us. No, they did not. If it did not benefit the elite, it would not have happened. It was never about us when they made that decision. If they couldn't benefit from it, it would not happen. So that's one thing. I really love what you said about that. We do need a solution focused conversation and just not keep focusing on the problem. We've been talking about the same problem forever. We know what the problem is. And is it Lance?
Yeah.
Okay, as far as the drugs in between, the racial difference, studies show that there is a significant difference between Caucasians and African Americans as far as drug use. However, when it comes to incarceration, it is African Americans who are incarcerated the most for drug use. But studies actually show that there is a significant difference between the drug use of Caucasians and African Americans. And Wait, mother? Is it mother? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. I just want to, kind of piggyback on everything everybody said because y'all had some really good responses and I loved it. I just want to say to you too, I really loved your response and about the music. Yes, music, they've been talking about drugs for a long time. And I think it's the thing of Black people not holding Black people accountable. Because when you are a Black rapper and all you do is talk about drugs, the kids that look up to you the most are Black kids. So you are telling this to your own people. So we don't hold each other accountable because you know what? That kind of stuff sells. Just like we say sex sells, that kind of stuff sells. So as long as we keep buying into it, they're going to keep making that kind of music because it sells. It's about money. Nobody cares about if your child is going to be influenced by this music. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares if I'm telling this to your child. And I mean, I can listen to the music and it don't influence me. It didn't make me want to do anything. However, we do know that some people are not that strong. Everybody is not that strong. It didn't make me want to do anything. But we know as far as children, you can parent your children to the best of your abilities and they will listen to their peers. They will go out and do whatever their peers are doing. They're more influenced by their peers than they are you. And I just hate to say it, even as a parent, no matter what we're doing, how much we try. But the good thing about it, that when you are parenting to the best of your ability, then you have created that foundation. So even when they go out there and they do those things that they should not be doing, at some point in their life, they're going to come back to that foundation that you've set for them. They're going to get back on the right arrow because they remember what you've been taught. You know how like when everybody family has problems, have their issues. But if your family has this foundation to where you always come back to that ground floor, no matter what you go out there and do, you come back because you remember the things that you were taught. You know what I'm saying? You don't need anybody to tell you all day, every day that, that you're a drug addict and that you're messing up your life. They know that already. It's just not as easy for them to get off of it. They know that already. So they don't need to be bashed about what it is they're doing. They know that already. So I really love your response. And Sierra, as far as the children and the medication, I've always told people to be honest, it's not as easy for them to get, that SSI because of ADHD, because ADHD seems to be as common as a headache now. Because that's what they do. If your child is 3 and they can't sit down like most 3-year-olds can't, their attention span is not long. How many 3 and 4-year-olds that has a long attention span? The first thing they want to do is diagnose them with ADHD. But here's the thing. The way that child perceives the effects of that medication at such a young age is different than the way a child would perceive it at 14 and 15 years old. At, let's say, 7 years old, you may feel a certain way and you don't really know what's going on with your body. But at 15, if you feel high, you want to continue to feel high. You like that feeling. But a smaller child don't really understand what it is they're feeling. So they don't really feel any type of way about the medicine until they're older. And it's like, okay, every time I take this medicine, I notice I start to feel high. Even if you're in detention centers, you have to really watch them take their meds because they will take it from under their tongue and give it to somebody else who's willing to take that medicine out of their mouth for those side effects, just to feel a certain way. So when they're older, their perception of the way they perceive those feelings is different. They're able to really understand, how it's making me feel. I feel high. I want to feel high. I like the way it feels when I feel that way versus giving it to a smaller child who really don't understand that.